Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone show. I am your host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land.
Violent night, bloody night, all are dead. Santa Claus killed them all. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. Hey, that is our big main event today that we're going to talk about. Is we are going to review Violent Night. And so we have not talked about it. We made sure we said save it for the podcast. And so we have been doing that. So I'm pretty excited about it. But along with it today, we've got all kinds of neat stuff for the show. First off, everybody, I want to tell you really about our sponsorship that we have going on right now. We have Audible. Where you can do an Audible trial with us. Audible. So I love audiobooks, everybody. A lot of people know that I love audiobooks. And I have over 140 audiobooks in my Audible account. And I love it.
It's not so.
Say it's not so. It is so. So here's why I love Audible. Audible, I can get all kinds of different audiobooks on all kinds of spectrums, sci-fi, thrillers, all kinds of different programs. There's meditation stuff. There's motivation. There's podcasts. Even yours truly, our podcast is on Audible. And so for new subscribers, new members to Audible, you can get your first 30 days for free, which means you get one Audible credit to choose from the thousands of titles that are available to you. And right now, my favorites are really the Shakespeare Star Wars Shakespeare series by Ian Desher. It's like listening to the Star Wars movies, but in Shakespearean prose. It's got music, sound effects, different voices, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, please check out audibletrial.com/2geeks. I'm going to put that up on the screen for those that are watching the show. Oh no, that's our Ko-fi one. Here's audibletrial.com/2geeks, TWOGEEKS. Go to that website and you will learn more about the Audible trial and all the cool membership things that are available to you. All right.
Every time you say .com, all I can hear is Peanut from Jeff Dunham. When Peanut says JeffDunham.com.
Oh.
Jeff, why do you have an extra F in your name? It's an unused F. Anyway, I love me some Jeff Dunham.
Right on. So, all right. Well, all right, Mike. You ready to roll with the how shall we say, the news?
The geeky news. All right.
Yes.
Okay. I just have a couple headlines in the geeky news today.
Okay.
First off, this is a movie that we've been hearing rumors. But I think things are starting to pan out, and I believe the rumors might possibly be happening. I'm hoping so. Megan's over there shaking her head going,
okay.
No, it's not. So the rumor is that Beetlejuice 2 is going to happen.
With Michael Keaton and the whole bit?
Yes. They're saying that Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder should return in their roles, which I am very excited about. We all know Michael Keaton loves that role. I mean, man, you talk about eating up the scenery. Yeah, he definitely ate up the scenery on that one. But anyway, Brad Pitt's production company has been showing interest in Beetlejuice 2. And this is according to chipandco.com. So apparently it's like a Disney site, a Disney, I guess, kind
like
of
a Disney news site.
Yeah, Disney news site or something.
Okay.
But they're reporting that Brad Pitt's production company is showing interest in it. So I'm hopeful. Recently, Tim Burton had made a comment about it, and he kind of alluded, no, see, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. But if I was going to,
I see.
Right. That kind of makes you think, yeah, he's doing it. He just can't say it officially. So I'm hopeful it's going to happen. I know that's kind of on the rumor side, but yeah.
Right.
That's
kind of a fun rumor though. Okay.
Right.
All right, cool.
We'll keep an eye on this, and as soon as we find out something, we'll be letting everyone know.
Right.
The other news I have, apparently some DC animated content has been axed by HBO Max. Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that got my interest was apparently there was a animated feature called Batman the Caped Crusader.
Okay.
And unfortunately, HBO has put the axe to it, but there's a possibility.
HBO Max has put the axe.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Axe by Max. Hey, I like that. Axe by Max. You might go with that every time they axe something.
Right. We may be saying that a lot lately.
Who knows? So, but apparently Amazon is interested in picking this show up.
In picking it up? Very nice.
The really interesting thing about this is, well, there's part of this that makes me cringe, and then part of this that really makes me happy. Okay. So the show is by none other than Jar Jar Abrams himself.
Jar Jar Abrams.
For those who don't know, J.J. Abrams did The Force Awakens, and he did Rise of Skywalker.
Well, he also did Lost, and
but I'm referring to the nickname Jar Jar Abrams. I'm not anyway. But the brighter side of that is it's also created by Bruce Timm, who is the original creator of the Batman animated series, which is the most awesome Batman animated series in history. So, with that said, I have high hopes for this. If Bruce Timm's involved, I think this is something that we should be watching for. So,
I think I remember us talking about that long time ago.
Yeah,
that we were excited because with Bruce Timm, and we're like, ooh, and then yeah, that's kind of cool. If Netflix picks up some DC stuff that DC doesn't want to make,
this is Amazon.
Amazon. I'm sorry. Thanks. If that Amazon doesn't want to make, that DC doesn't want to make, but Amazon will pick it up. I'm sure there's like a franchise fee or whatever, but I'm up for it. I think it'd be great.
Well, if Bruce Timm's involved, I'm definitely giving it a chance. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out, Brian. Good morning, Brian from Three Geeky Dads. Great to have you here with us. We also have Dalton, Dalton V. Welcome to the show.
Hey, that's my nephew.
I was just gonna say, when's Dad gonna figure it out?
Sorry, I'm trying to rearrange my computer.
That's all right. Hey, everybody. I'm pretty excited about things that are coming up news wise. We do need to discuss this, everybody. I think this is the best part of the time in our geeky news. Two Geeks. If you are a subscriber to our Ko-fi, okay, at the $1, the $2, or $3 level, we have a special classic sci-fi event. That classic sci-fi event is we are going to watch Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. 1964 film. And we are inviting you to join us. So we are actually going to do a private webinar to where you can join us. We're going to put the link into for our subscribers. And we're going to do it in 2 weeks from now. and we'll get you all the information. It's going to be on in our Ko-fi pages, so where you can come in. We're all going to watch it together, and you guys can join us in the chat and make comments and
Right.
but the rest of the Two Geeks family will be all on video, but we will also have it on the screen so you can watch it with us, because it is a public domain movie. And so there's no big deal about us streaming, and we've already tested it and we're pretty excited about it.
So yeah, if you are not a Ko-fi subscriber and you'd like to watch this, you can get in even at the $1 level. You can get in and view this with us. So come join the fun. December 17th, we said.
Yep, 2 weeks.
17th. And it will be after our morning recording. So after our regular stream, we will take a short break, and then come back and do that. So
yep, it's going to be fun. It's good. It's kind of like all of the whole Two Geeks family, our Ko-fi subscribers and us here, doing like our own style of Mystery Science
Theater
3000. Right.
Mystery Science Theater 3000 is just glorious. I love it.
Right.
And this is like a perfect movie for them. I'll bet they've probably done this movie, most likely.
Maybe. So we have not seen it. We did preview a little bit here and there of it, but we have not seen it.
Oh, it looks gloriously bad. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. So tying in our Christmas and sci-fi, classic sci-fi, we thought it'd be a lot of fun. So I'm pretty excited about it. All right. We ready to anything else on geeky news, Mike?
Nope. That's all I got for today.
Right on. Okay. So next is dun.
Well, you don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it? Now, what is it?
I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
Yep, and the same can be said about us.
Classic Spaceballs. So,
classic
all right.
Spaceballs. It's just Spaceballs. There's only one Spaceballs.
Right, but it is a classic. So
Yes,
I'm just kidding. Yes. All right. So, I had to get up early this week, and like at 3:30 in the morning, I was going in for some testing and stuff, and so I had to get up, start drinking this stuff. So I was up for a little while. So I decided to watch the first 2 episodes of the new Disney Plus Willow series.
Oh, yeah, and we are going to cover Willow too.
We are, and so if you're asking the question out there, if you're thinking about watching it or not, if you like fantasy adventure, the story is actually really interesting. You have to watch the first Willow. The movie Willow, the old, movie, the George Lucas character, kind of thing with Val Kilmer and stuff. No, you don't. They do a nice job of kind of recapping that at the beginning of the first episode. And then beyond that, then it just goes on its own storytelling and stuff. So there's one character in there that just annoys the tar out of me. You can kind of see some of where the story's going with it, but is it fun? Yes. Is it good quality? Actually, it was better than I thought it would be, quality wise and stuff. So I am intrigued. After 2 episodes, I do want to finish the series. So that's my quick review of that.
Okay, big question. How many Steven skips?
0.
Ooh, okay. See, that speaks volumes there. If there's no Steven skips, then yeah, okay.
Yep, no
and
Steven skips.
We plan on covering the original Willow movie in just a few weeks here.
On the 17th. So after we do
there we go.
Yep. And so
I better watch it soon.
Right?
Full disclosure, I have never actually watched Willow. So
which is surprising since you're a George Lucas fan.
I am, but you got to remember that came out in the late 80s, and I just wasn't into fantasy flicks. And
sure.
More of a fantasy flick. So
it is.
Back then, it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
So I
Sure.
want to watch Willow, and I think I should watch the movie before I watch the TV.
It does. It will give you context.
Right.
It will give you context. I just the reason I can say you can start watching the series without it is because I can't remember the movie.
So you're saying that they give a really nice recap the way I think it was Obi-Wan gave a really good recap of Revenge of the Sith. Well, actually, the entire prequels, all 3 prequels.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So is that it for your geek?
That's mine. That's my geek news. Yes. Or my Geekdar. Wah,
Darn.
wah.
All right. So my geekdar, actually, this was brought to my attention by a friend at work. His name's Ed. Ed messaged me at work, and he's like, "Hey, have you watched this?" And I was like, "No, actually, I haven't. I'll check it out when I get a chance. Hopefully, I'll check it out tonight or tomorrow." So I watched it this morning. It's a half hour long, but it's well worth the watch. It's on YouTube. It's Adam Savage and Adam Savage of the Mythbusters, which I like Adam. He's really cool. Adam does some awesome builds and all this good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's an avid model builder, not along with all the sciencey stuff that he's done in the past.
Doesn't he also disguise himself at Comic Cons
Yes.
and stuff?
Yes, he does. Yes,
Okay. Oh yeah.
He's got
Yeah.
some great videos
Oh,
of his,
yeah,
his costumes.
So one of his favorite places to go is the Smithsonian, though. And the Smithsonian
Cool.
has the original Star Trek Enterprise model that was actually used for all of the intro shots, the opening shots of the television series.
Oh, the opening sequences and stuff.
Yes.
Wah, wah,
Wow.
wah,
They have
wah,
this
wah.
model.
Sorry.
They have the original model. The thing is 11 feet long. And get this, it's made mostly of wood, not plastics. It is made mostly of wood.
Dude, that thing's heavy, I bet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was so funny because the curator, she's telling about the model, and she says, the model is actually designed to be put on a single pole as a stand, which is what they used for the shots, and which makes sense. She goes, it is not displayed here because it makes the curator nervous. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, that's awesome. So, she gets some great details about it, and they brought in some folks from ILM to help restore the model and everything. Just beautiful details in this model. Even if you're not a Star Trek fan, I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan in the world, but I have a great appreciation for models, and I really have a great appreciation for models that are used in movies and stuff like that. I find that intriguing. So that's on my Geekdar today. I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube. It's Adam Savage, Smithsonian, Star Trek. And
okay.
look up those things and you'll find it pretty quick. So
Very nice.
that's my Geekdar today.
Brian says the 11-foot filming model.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is amazing too. Oh, beautiful. I mean, they get into the paint detail on it. It even has the original pencil markings on the hull of the ship, which signifies the panels. Those are actually pencil drawings, just pencil markers. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway,
That's
moving
pretty
on
cool.
to our main event.
Dun. We don't have a main event theme, do we?
I don't have a main. I got to come up with something.
Dun, 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 dun,
Now I
dun,
really
dun.
Come up with something.
Right. All right, everybody. We are here today. Thank you so much for joining us to talk
My
about.
inspiration for sound effects is when Steven starts making up his own sound effects on the fly. So then I have to come up with something. That's Steven telling me get to work.
Right.
You slacker.
Right.
Anyway,
you're so funny. All right, we're here to talk about Violent Night, the new David Harbour right? David Harbour.
Hold on, I got the IMDb somewhere here.
Um,
Yes, David Harbour.
Yep.
David Harbour of Stranger Things.
Fame. Mhm.
Yeah, he was also
Hellboy.
oh yeah, he did
The
play
latest Hellboy movie
I
was
didn't
him.
I didn't watch that.
Okay, so here's the deal. So everybody, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give our general review, non-spoiler review.
Oh,
give
he
our
also played
rating.
Alexi. He played Alexi in Marvel.
Oh,
Black
he
Widow's-
did
Black
in
Widow.
Black Widow, the Black Widow movie. Yes. So we're going to give our big review, overall review, give a rating, and then we will go into spoilerific territory. So if you have not seen it yet, you may not have because it launched yesterday. So it did not launch on Thursday here
You there,
locally
Steven?
for us. I am.
Uh-oh. I think Steven froze up.
What?
Yeah, you froze up.
Oh,
You
that's
froze up
weird.
on my side anyway. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you froze up on YouTube.
I don't know, but anyway, so we'll continue on.
weird.
So, big dun 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 dun, big. How shall I say this? A big. It did not start on Thursday here locally. So it came out yesterday. So if you
I don't know what's
haven't
going on here.
Okay. Brian says I didn't freeze up. So I'm not frozen up on Brian says on Facebook. So we're probably
Okay,
pretty good.
I'm having some issues on my side, I think.
Okay.
Because you keep freezing up and then yeah.
Not on YouTube. I'm not frozen up. So
I don't know what's going on.
I know. Okay. So we'll just keep going. So let's Brian says still not frozen. Sweet. All right, everybody. So here's the dealio. So Mike, what out of what do you want to give this? What's our rating?
Okay, Brenda suggested something tonight or last night. I think we'll go with it. We're gonna go with sledgehammers.
Okay. Do we want to call them skull crushers? Or do-
Heck yeah.
Okay. All right. Right. All right. So here
I
we
don't
go.
want you going. I don't want you saying, "Well, I'm gonna have to give it an E now because you said." Sorry.
Right. All right. So here's the dealioso. So now, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
We have not talked about this, you guys.
No,
we
we
saved
have
it for the podcast. So, I'll be
100%.
open with you guys. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Wow. Dang.
This is my new favorite Christmas movie that I will definitely watch every year.
Wow.
I enjoyed this movie. Is it a perfect movie? No.
Well,
But I'm giving
no
it 10 out of
movie's
10
perfect.
because no movie's perfect, but I had a blast with this movie.
Oh.
So Kelly and Troy were both with me. As we talk about different things, as we go into spoilerific territory, I'll explain some things, what we shared with each other. But it was absolutely a blast. People have said it's a cross between Die Hard and Home Alone. It is a cross between Die Hard and Home Alone. And
Okay.
I'll reference in the spoilerific territory why people are saying that.
Full disclosure. I actually have never watched Die Hard, and I think that's because it is touted as such a great movie, and it's one of those movies I kind of pride myself on. I actually haven't seen it. Anyway, so I've never actually watched Die Hard. I have watched Home Alone, unfortunately, and I am so sick and tired of Home Alone. I can't stand that movie anymore. Yeah, this movie is way better than freaking Home Alone.
It is better than Home Alone. Now, here's why people say Die Hard has this whole big thing. Real quick, everybody. Die Hard, people say, is it an action movie or is it a Christmas movie? Well,
Right.
It's both. It is a Christmas movie and it's an action movie. I love Die Hard. The first one. The other ones are okay, but the first one's the best. And it is totally a how shall I say? This movie is, I get why they say Die Hard. I understand that. And I understand why they say Home Alone. It is a good mix, but it is different, and it's a genre in and of its own because it was action, it was comedy, it was horror. I mean, and it was Christmas.
It was Christmas. Yes.
I shouldn't say horror, but it was.
Yeah,
it has its gory moments.
gore, but not horror.
Good call.
I'll give you gore.
Yeah,
I'll give you gore.
Yes.
Now. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Mike, what's your Sage
Welcome,
Page
Sage.
says, "Welcome to the party, pal." Quote from good old Die Hard. Well done. Well done.
So, I thought long and hard about what I was scoring this as. Originally, I was going to give it a 9, but I had to knock it down a notch. And I only knocked it down a notch for 2 reasons.
Okay.
One is just because the way Santa acts in the very beginning and when we see him and start to see things happen. I won't go into details on it, but I was like, okay, this wasn't exactly what I was signing up for. But then all of a sudden it kicked into high gear and I went, yes, this is what I paid for. So I took a notch off for that. And I was also disappointed that we never actually got to see she was mentioned, but we never got to see Mrs. Claus, and I would have liked to have seen Mrs. Claus. So with that said, I will give this an 8 out of 10. I love this movie. I thought this movie was awesome. And if those two things, if those would have changed, this probably would have been a 10 for me too. Because man, this was a really good movie. This is definitely going to go on my holiday rotation. This will be a yearly Christmas movie. I will not make this my number one Christmas movie. Number one Christmas movie for me will always be Christmas Vacation. Nobody tops the Griswolds. Sorry, Santa, you can't top Clark. Clark is still the best, but this was freaking amazing. It is such a good film.
Would you say it's worth seeing in the theater?
Heck yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Seeing it on the big screen is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
So would you get tickets again? Because I didn't get to go see it.
Well, that wasn't my fault.
So I would say
I would probably be willing to go see it again.
We've got that Regal Unlimited pass, so that's a no-brainer. We're like, yeah. I mean, if I've got the time where I can go see it again, I probably would go see it again. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will have it as part of my collection when it comes out, because it's just a lot of fun. And all. So, yeah. So, all right. I don't want to go into too much without going into give our spoiler warnings or anything else we want to talk about. If you guys haven't seen the movie, the story overall is Santa is having kind of a rough go of where, at the beginning where he's kind of, kids are getting more selfish these days and self-absorbed.
Doubting whether he should be Santa Claus.
He's doubting whether or not. And then there's a family that has a vault, very much reminiscent of Die Hard. They have a vault. These people try to go to break in, and there's this little girl that who still believes in Santa Claus. He finds himself there in the midst of the whole heist going on, and he, just like Die Hard, he's the fly in the ointment. But
I like the way you put that, fly in the ointment.
Yeah, the what did he say in the movie? Gopher or something?
Yeah, they kept calling him Gopher. I was like,
yeah, a gopher, right?
I didn't quite get that.
Right. I was like, are you trying to make a Caddyshack reference?
Yeah, that one kind of didn't go over well.
Yeah. So
at least for me, it didn't.
Yeah, agreed. And so then the little girl is the connection between her and Santa is the heart behind this film. So not only is it comedy and action, but it is also got some heart that I didn't expect, to be open with you.
Yeah.
And that is the character development in the whole thing, which was really interesting and stuff. So anyway, needless to say, that's the premise of the film. Santa takes care of the bad guys, and and I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to spoil anything else. All right, everybody, we ready to go into spoilerific territory?
Yes.
All right. Dun 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 dun.
All right, we got something invading our chat.
That's okay. We're getting taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Can you take care of that? Okay. So a couple things I wanted to cover. We already talked about the fact that David Harbour plays Santa Claus. John, I cannot say his name. Leguizamo. If anyone knows how to say
Leguizamo or something like that. Yeah.
Leguizamo.
But yeah,
anyway,
yes,
he plays the main bad guy in it, and he names himself "quote unquote" Scourge. Something I wanted to say about him is he actually voiced the Riddler in the Batman audio adventures that's available on HBO Max and available as a podcast, which I had as my Geekdar, I think, last week and stuff. So he did a great Riddler too.
Okay, yeah.
I like that. And there is actually a connection of this movie to my all-time favorite Christmas movie, Christmas Vacation. And I didn't realize it till I got home and I was looking at the IMDb. Do you have any idea what that is, Steven?
Is that Beverly D'Angelo?
Yeah, I didn't realize that Gertrude was actually Beverly D'Angelo.
Looks very different.
Recognize her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I got home and I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's a great example of Hollywood plastic surgery gone wrong.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like herself anymore.
No, she doesn't. It's unfortunate. But she did a great job in it.
Yes, she did a great job.
She did a fabulous job in it.
So looks aside, she did a fantastic job. And Lee Brady, who played Trudy, the little girl, she was incredible. I love the kid. The kid was amazing.
Yep.
All right, so we can move on from there.
Okay, sure. Real quick, everybody, the reason why people say it's Home Alone versus Die Hard. Okay, so Die Hard, you've got the Christmas story, you've got the action and stuff, but in the movie, in the second fight with Santa Claus, he pulls into his bag and he's trying to find weapons or something. He's like, video game.
I love that.
He's like, Die Hard 2 movie, kind of a thing. And then, and so there's that point, and then Santa tells the little girl she's hiding up in the attic, and he tells the little girl to, try to.
Wait a minute. He makes the comment. How come kids don't want like swords or anything anymore?
He does. Yeah, I was get to that in a minute. But but it is true. He's like, no one's getting guns or swords or stuff like that. So then he's telling the girl up in the attic to, hey, defend yourself with, or, however you can. And then that's later on brings up the Home Alone movement. And I don't know if we want to talk about that now. We can talk about that later, but there are times I cringed in this, and that was one of those moments in there. I cringed quite a bit.
Oh yeah. And the Home Alone parts were much more better
than Home Alone. By golly, cheers.
Oh my gosh, yeah, way better than Home Alone. She makes Kevin look like nothing.
Well, I think it's because we got really what we wanted out of Home Alone. Home Alone is the PG version of stuff going bad or wrong, but we got some good stuff. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So anyway, that's why people call it the cross between Die Hard and Home Alone. There's a heist. People are taking over. You've got, you've got those who have been captured, and then and torture and people getting killed. I mean, it is a very much a similar framework, similar story to Die Hard, but it does have that Home Alone element in it too, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
I did not expect the Home Alone element at all either. I was completely surprised by that. I had no idea that was going to be a part of this film at all.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I was like, oh, this is perfect. I love it.
Yeah. The funny thing is, so, you know, what happens with Santa Claus is, well, they already took out 2 of the 8. And I would just the point I was like, oh, this isn't, we're not going to get any good kills or anything. You know, I thought this was going to be a whole bunch of whatever. Well, about that time is when the whole Death Squad team comes into place, and obviously a plot twist that they're also in on it.
So we open up and we open up at a bar, or in a pub in England, which was freaking hilarious. I love this scene. So Santa's sitting at a bar in a pub drinking a beer, and then another Santa Claus comes in, you know, and he's like, "Oh, rough night," and he's just like, "Yeah, you wouldn't even know how much of a rough night it is," and all this stuff. He goes, "You finish up your shift?" "No, I'm kind of on break right now."
Right.
And then the bartender, she goes, "Are you driving?" And he goes, "Well, I'm just kind of steering a little bit. The reindeer actually do all the work." And she's just rolling her eyes like, "Oh God, come on." You know, right. And the other Santa's like, "Give him a break. You know, it's Christmas Eve and he's Santa and we have a rough time," and, you know, and all this stuff. So anyway, and then Santa goes, or he's like, "All right, I got to get back to work," and all this stuff. And he goes out and she's yelling at him, "Hey, you can't go that way. That goes to the roof." And she goes up on the roof and he's already taken off, and she sees the sleigh and the reindeer, and she's just like, "Oh my gosh, it really is him." Oh, and he gave her a gift for her son or grandkid, one of the two. And she's like, how did you know, she completely couldn't understand how he knew all this and everything. But as he's flying over her and she's in awe, he throws up on her.
Right.
It was so freaking funny.
Yeah, we laughed quite a bit on that.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious. Yeah. But now, so then we get to the point where Santa's delivering the packages, and he gets to, I guess that house was on the complex where the family was at, or nearby, I don't know. And it looked like it was a pretty upscaled, rich, you know, home and stuff. And he gets in there. Well, it had the cookies that she made, didn't it? I think it might have been where they were actually staying. I don't know. Anyway, so he goes to eat the cookie, which he's like, "Oh, homemade. Good." And
that was all on that compound. Yeah, I wasn't for sure
right.
which part you were talking about. Yes.
And then he goes to drink the milk, and he's like, "Oh, skim milk," which I agree with him.
Right.
And then he starts eyeing the place, and he sees the liquor, cabinet or whatever, and he's like, "Oh," and he grabs the brandy. So he's drinking brandy and eating
with cookies.
And he's like, "Good mix." I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's no way that can be a good mix."
I also like when he took that and he sat down in the massage chair.
Yeah. Yes. Just relaxing in the massage chair. Oh my gosh, that was a great scene. But so then we have the scene with the bad guys and everything, and Santa is kind of running for the hills. And this is the moment where I'm going, wait a minute. I want this. All right. Pardon the expression. I want my badass Santa who's going to kill the naughty people, because that's the way it was portrayed in the trailers and stuff.
Right.
I'm like, I paid for badass Santa killing naughty people. Give me my badass Santa. I want him, you know? So at that moment I was like, wait a minute, is this what I paid for? And then a little bit later it starts to kick into the high gear, and you start to understand why he reacts the way he does in the beginning.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, all right, I get it now. Because as it goes along, you find out Santa hasn't always been Santa.
Right.
All right.
Well, I think that speaks to the whole point of. I know you said you didn't like the opening, the bar scene at the beginning with Santa.
No, I like the bar scene. I love the bar scene. The bar scene's incredible.
Well, go ahead.
I was just a little iffy on him being kind of the wimpy, meek Santa.
I thought that was great because it set up the whole character development of the film. Because here he is, he's tired.
He's along. I got it.
Right.
But,
right.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just saying that was the whole thing of setting up where he has been so, just exhausted. The kids, are really about themselves. And they showed, they had the clips where he was giving people just wanted cash video game or something, kind of a thing.
I know his pain too.
Megan, did you hear that?
Not me.
No, it's not her.
He just talking about it.
I hate getting cash and gift cards and stuff like that.
What do you want for Christmas? Money. How about I give you a lump of coal right up your? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, kind of thing. Well, let me ask you this: what was your favorite part? What was your favorite part?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard to. There were so many cool parts in this movie. I mean, one, just when Santa started being the badass and
Mm-hmm.
and he tells us about Skull Crusher. Oh,
Right.
I was like, yeah, this is my Santa Claus. I like this guy. I love the whole like we were saying, the Home Alone aspect of it, the little girl and her booby traps, those were great. Fantastic. I don't know, there's just too many scenes to pick up one.
Let me go back to Skull Crusher. When we learn about Skull Crusher and being his hammer, kind of a thing. And
which I so wanted somebody to reference Milnor.
Right.
I was like, why are we not getting a Thor reference in here? Why not?
Right.
Oh,
right. God. So I thought it was funny how shall I say, he is telling the girl about Skull Crusher. Oh yeah, just line up 3 heads right in a row. Just like, oh my goodness, Santa Claus is telling this little girl about. But it made sense because it actually became part of the story of which she was inspiring him. You were, you are good. That was your past. And then she says, but now I need your past to save who you are, kind of a thing.
Yeah, we should probably explain. So Santa Claus reveals that before he was Santa Claus, how many years did he say? It was like 11?
It was like at least 1,100 years or something like that. Yeah,
it was a long time. And that he was some kind of
he was a thief, a pillager,
right.
Some type of
made him look like a Viking warrior or something,
like a Nordic Viking, something. Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't really explain exactly who.
No, but I wanted more of that lore.
Oh yeah, I kind of want the
which we didn't get.
I want the pre-story. I kind of hope there's a prequel and a sequel to this movie. I so want a prequel. I want to see how he was before. I mean, I know we get these little glimpses of it, but no. I want a full movie. I want a full movie of how bad he actually was. And then I want a sequel showing us how he proceeds after this. And heck, I want to see the North Pole. Heck, I wanted her to be able to ride in the sleigh. Oh my gosh, so much. There needs to be a sequel to this movie.
Yeah. I would say, I would totally be up for a Violent Night too. Like, here we go again, kind of a thing. But this time he starts off, he doesn't have the the character arc that he does in this one.
Right.
I thought that was good though. I got with the character arc. I thought it was great. He's down on Christmas. He's feeling bad. Is he even viable anymore? Is he even needed? Right. Kind of a thing. And I thought that was really good. And then, this connection with this girl was great. So, so my two favorite parts were the scene where he's in the shed and comes to grips with where he gets the hammer, finds the hammer, kind of a thing. He's telling the girl, and then
that was great how he gets led to the hammer, because she's asking him. So her Christmas wish is that her parents are divorced, and that or I don't know if they're divorced or separated, but either way. Her Christmas wish is that her parents get back together, and Santa's trying to explain to her there are some things that I loved how he explained this too. I thought this was great. He's like, there are some things that even Christmas magic cannot, do. And he says, for instance, you wanted, I don't remember what she'd wanted the one year for Christmas, but she'd wanted something. And he's like, that's not a problem. I can bring that to you. He goes, the next year you wanted to fly. He says, it's a little difficult for Santa to make a little girl fly. So the next best thing I could think of was I bring you a kite so you could fly as close to the clouds as you possibly could. And I was like, oh, that's really good. I like that. That's really, really neat. And then she asks him about his relationship and if he's married. And he's like, yeah, I have Mrs. Claus and we've been together for 1,100 years. And, it's hard. You have to work on relationships. And he pulls off his wedding ring, and he's taking his wedding ring off and he's looking at it, and then accidentally drops it. And the ring's rolling across the floor and he's freaking out. I mean, I've been
understandably
there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there. Oh crap, I can't lose that. And the ring rolls right to a sledgehammer. And it was such a great scene. I love that scene. Anyway.
Yep.
Sorry.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Set up the scene.
Right. So that whole thing where the whole now the death squad comes in, or and then he does all the killing or all the defense stuff there with the Christmas music playing was good.
Were you surprised that the death squad was already taken over by?
Oh no, you could see that a mile away.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's okay. I loved it because it gave us more. It gave us more battles, because I was like, "There's only 8 people here in the building. And we've already taken out 2. There's only 6 left." And then when they showed up, I was like, "Yay! More death scenes!"
Wow, Steven. Yeah.
Right.
We're starting to see the real Steven come out.
I know. Everybody look out. The ex-pastor has some problems.
Ex-Baptist pastor is glorifying death.
It's entertainment. That sounded wrong too. Oh gosh. Okay. And then my second favorite scene was the Home Alone sequence. It was so there's the one big bad guy, Bjorn, I think was what his name was, when Santa Claus told his name. It's like, how'd you know my name? That guy with the gray beard and so I loved it when he goes to go up the ladder to the attic, and there's the nail, and he makes this comment. There's the nail that you see stuck up in the ladder, and he's making fun of the girl. Well, you've got to learn to hide it. That's the whole point of booby traps.
It's not a booby trap if it's not hidden. Yeah.
Right. Yes. And then he goes up the ladder just ever so, but then you realize that she sawed one of the steps in half. So he hits it, and then he comes down, he falls, and the thing goes right through his chin. I squirmed so bad.
Oh, we all did. Everyone did.
Every time he kept moving around, and the girl, the one lady starts climbing over him, and
the part that Brenda couldn't watch. Remember when Santa gets wounded? And he does his own little surgery job. That was Oh, it hurt.
I was like, that is so Studley.
Brenda. Yeah, that's when he takes off his shirt and he's got all the tattoos and yeah.
Oh, the tattoo where you figure out he's got some kind of background because it was all this
Right.
Nordic Celtic.
And he's got all
looking
kinds
stuff.
of scars too.
He had all kinds of
He's
scars,
scarred up from other battles and everything. So
right?
yeah, it just made Santa really cool.
It did. It did.
He was, but Brenda brought a blanket with her. She usually brings a blanket with her to the theater to cover up with because she gets cold. And she's like covered her head up when he's stitching his side out. And I mean, I'm having to look away a little bit too. And I'm like, oh gosh, that's painful. But you're right. When that nail goes up through his jaw, oh my gosh, that was painful. That was really painful and glorious at the same time.
Right. And, speaking of, could you see certain things coming? Here comes the bowling balls down and he gets hit and he falls back and there's all those nails and stuff that get him. And then he gets himself back up and then he pulls out.
The bowling ball thing that was used in Home Alone. He actually used a bowling ball.
Well, there was a swing. Yeah. Kind of a thing. Yeah.
Right.
So
he didn't have the nails and stuff.
No, which was great. And when he pulls out the nail and then he looks up at it, I'm like, okay, here it comes. He's looking at the nail, and then here comes the bowling ball.
Well, and like the scene where she like gets glued to the floor and everything.
The one when she gets up in the attic and gets glued to the floor. Yes.
Right. She gets glued to the floor. She does manage to get up, but she can't move. So she takes her boots off. And I think they used something similar to that in Home Alone.
They did. It's
been a long time since I watched Home Alone, but
they did, where you were on ornaments and crap,
right.
and you have to
but
take your
then
shoes off.
it gets worse and more demented.
Right.
I mean, she's like Kevin, but way more demented.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why she's better than Kevin. Oh, and we didn't get the whole stupid
right
shave scene. Yeah. Thank God.
So I was going to get your thoughts on, I thought it was interesting, this whole concept of Christmas magic. He didn't know how it worked. It just worked and stuff. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, man, after 1100 years,
you think Santa would figure something out.
Yeah, have a little better handle on it. But I loved how they brought in the whole, just like in Night Before Christmas, the twitch of the nose and up to the chimney he went. And I thought it was
Tim Allen uses in the Santa Claus also. He uses that same stunt because they've repeated it in the new series that's on Disney Plus right now, which we are currently watching, the Santa Clauses. And he goes to go up the chimney and puts his finger up beside his nose. And he can't do it. It doesn't work, which happened to him too. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh wow. Similar thing is happening to him that happened to Tim Allen Santa Claus.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
And part of me was like, why was it not working? Why didn't it work? And I think it was part of this whole Christmas magic was behind Santa needing to grow.
Right.
Or needing that, because he was in the first battle, the first henchman that Santa runs into, he tries to do it and it's not working. He's like, come on, kind of a thing. And I thought, and then it does work, and Bjorn's like, where'd he go? He went up the chimney, and John Leguizamo's character was like, he has some kind of pulley system. He's like, have you seen that chimney? There's no one can get up that chimney, that way, kind of a thing.
Well, what's even better is when he does it later with the battle with
the last battle, he does it. He takes John Leguizamo through him, and then just blood goes everywhere. And
it was awesome.
it was interesting to say the least. Yes, I enjoyed how the movie would introduce things and continue on through them. And the whole chimney sequence was one of those things where it introduced and kind of continued on and brought it back. So everything that you see in the movie is done with purpose, on purpose, for purpose.
Well, and it was great when the bad guys have Santa tied up and they got his bag and they don't understand it, and they keep reaching in it, and just keep pulling out presents and presents and presents. And presents.
Right.
And you're like, what is this? And he's like, it's Christmas magic, stupid.
Right.
You know, what's wrong with you? And they can't understand it because they can't believe it. So, yeah, that was great. I loved it.
So when the vault opened, when they finally got the vault opened and stuff, and which happened quicker than I thought, but so be it. It's no big deal. And the money wasn't there. Did you expect that or not?
I expected it only because of the story that the one guy said. Because the one guy was telling the story about his Christmas presents and how he loved to open Christmas presents, even if there was nothing in the boxes. His mom would wrap up empty boxes for him, and he'd just be thrilled just to open a present, whether it actually had anything in it or not. And right away, I looked at Brenda. I go, there ain't going to be nothing in that safe.
As soon as that happened, yep, same here.
As soon as he said that, I was like, yep, there's nothing in the safe. And sure enough, the safe was empty.
Right. And then my brain went back to, the note the son wrote to his mom.
Right. Which was great because, that was basically a middle finger to her.
Right.
Initially, it was a middle finger to her, but she picked up on it right away. Like, okay, well, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah. And they do.
Because you initially just saved us all. Well, I mean, at least saved the fortune anyway.
Yeah, I think Angie summed it up nicely. Foreshadowing. There was tons of foreshadowing in the whole thing and stuff.
Yeah, if you paid close attention, you could see what was coming up.
Right. By the way, Angie, nice Santa Claus hat in your Facebook page.
Yeah, where's your skull crusher? Oh man, that's what we need for this one. We need Santa Claus hats and sledgehammers.
All right.
That's an opportunity.
That's all right. It's okay. So any other favorite parts that you had or anything you want to chit chat about the film?
I love the reindeers are great. And I love it when he lands on the house and one of the reindeers crap on the roof. And he is so mad because he steps in it and he's yelling at him. And the relationship between Santa and the reindeers are hilarious. And he's like, this wouldn't happen with Rudolph.
Right. Which makes you wonder what happened to Rudolph.
And what's even better is, every year we see those memes of Santa, sitting on somebody's chimney like a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
I could so see this Santa doing that. If any Santa Claus is going to do that, it's going to be this one.
Right.
He was so good in this movie, and he looked great as Santa Claus. I gotta say, he makes a fantastic Santa Claus. Yeah. Some people just don't have the right look, and I thought he was incredible. I loved the beard, the suit. Oh, the suit! His suit. Did you notice it was more like a leather?
The vest, the underneath the red coat.
No, the coat was like a leather coat.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. It just made him look that much more badass.
It made it much more better.
I'm out of coffee. I'm empty.
That's right. So, yeah, it was good. Again, we're seeing in the theater. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It is going to be a new Christmas in my Christmas movie list. It's in there.
Oh yeah. Every year I've got to watch Christmas Vacation, Scrooged. We try to get in Miracle on 34th Street because that's Brenda's all-time favorite Christmas movie.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
And Muppets Christmas Carol.
Ooh, that's a good one.
My favorite.
Yeah, fantastic. Honestly, I'm a big fan of anything Scrooge related.
I was gonna say you like the Christmas Carol.
I love I love the Christmas Carol. I think it's an incredible Christmas classic, and there's so many good versions of that movie. But yes, this has to go on my Christmas watch list, definitely. And I'm not one for the whole Christmas horror, and it's not really horror; it's more gore than it is horror. But I'm not.
If you want horror, go watch Krampus.
And we might do that. But I'm not really one for that genre. But when the trailer came out for this, I was just like, oh my gosh, I got to see this. This looks fantastic. And I have to say, the trailer lived up to it. It is as good as the trailer makes it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some movies you see all the best parts in the trailer, and there's no reason to see the movie.
And I was worried about that.
I was too. There was part of me that was like, oh crap, everything good we've probably already seen. This is probably going to be a terrible movie. And no, it is a great, great movie. I love it.
How many people were in the theater?
It was pretty full. It wasn't 100% full. Oh yeah. I got a funny story about that. So we are over halfway through the film, right? Brendan and I are sitting together. Megan couldn't make it to this movie. And so I have an empty seat on the other side of me, right? This couple comes walking in. They have not been here the entire movie, right? They come in touting popcorn and toting popcorn and everything. And the guy sits down next to me, and I see him looking at his phone, and she's standing up there with a disgusted look on her face and side-eyeing me. And I'm like, lady, what is your problem? And the whole time Brenda's like, hey, people, you're making us miss the movie. And I overhear them say, well, we've got G11 and G12. Well, that's mine and Brenda's seats. And I looked at him and I said, are you sure it's G? Because, I'm like, maybe you got the wrong. And I'm also sitting there going, and why are you coming in over halfway through the film? Who does that? I mean,
Right.
What is wrong with you, And then when I said that, he went, oh, I think we just figured it out. And then they both left. So I think they either had the wrong time or the wrong movie.
Wrong theater.
Right.
Wrong theater.
Right. But it's like, dude, you can look at the screen and see we were way into this film. Why are you here?
Right. Right.
And stay away from my seat.
Yeah. I'm sure they hit the wrong theater number. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it probably was. But it was just funny because she's giving me this side eye like I stole her seat. It's like,
well,
no,
you did technically.
No,
just
I
the wrong
did.
Theater
Was,
number.
No, I didn't steal her seat. She was trying to steal mine.
All right.
Look here, lady. I've been here for half the movie. Where you been?
Right.
Anyway, I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't listen to the show or watch the show or listen to the show.
Guess we'll find out.
We're gonna get comments.
Right.
Oh well. I thought it was a funny story though.
Excellent. Well, hey,
quit giving me side eye looks.
Yeah. I just want to say, anybody, if you've seen the movie, please comment below. I would love to get your thoughts about this movie, whether on Facebook or YouTube. Let us know. It would be good to get your opinions. I would love to get your thoughts and opinions on it and stuff. So
Angie just commented. They were the ones spamming us.
Right.
Could be.
Right. All right, everybody. Well, I'm excited. Any final thoughts, Mike?
Again, if you're a fan of Christmas movies, which I am a big fan of many Christmas movies. And you're a fan of the gore genre, the whole, and a fan of action in general, you're going to like this movie. It's really good. If you don't prefer the gore, if you're queasy of that, you're probably not going to like this movie because there is a lot of blood and guts in it. But
yes.
Yeah, overall, I think this is an incredible film. It is a lot of fun. I say go see it. Go see it.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised at the heart it had in it too.
Yeah, it did.
The connection between Santa Claus, his growth, but the little girl too as well. And
Oh,
and it's really good.
one other thing. Well, two other things. I wanted to mention this. Number one, I wanted somebody to throw that freaking little elf in the fire. He was pissing me off. One of the bad guys, the one that had the family, he was watching over the family. He's
in the fireplace room.
He's a little person, and I kept calling him a freaking evil elf all the way through the film. Okay. And I was just like, somebody just pushed that elf in the fire, because he kept standing in front of the fire. I did find it hilarious when, because the dad gives Trudy, the little girl, a radio and tells her that it's like a one-way radio that she can talk to Santa. Santa won't be able to talk back to you, but you can talk to Santa and tell him what you want and stuff like that, because he missed taking her to see Santa Claus. And so she's using this radio and talking to Santa. Well, Santa picks up one of the radios of the bad guys that he kills, and he's switching through the channels, and he actually picks her up. So he and her start talking, and that's how the two of them get connected. So they start talking back and forth, and then all the bad guys are wanting to know who this Santa guy is. Who did they hire to come in as Santa Claus and everything? And they're all like, we didn't hire a Santa. In fact, the grandmother's like, I don't do that. That's cheesy. Well, it's at that point she says, Santa's coming to kick your asses. Oh, we forgot to talk about that too. Because he talked about shoving a piece of coal straight up their anus. Because when she said asshole, he's like, all right, you're on the nice list. We don't want you to be on
the naughty list, right?
And she goes, well, can I say butthole? He goes, that's borderline. How about anus? Well, anus is the
technically
term, so, yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
Right.
Such a great scene. But so you had the point where she informs them all that Santa's coming. And that's when the dad's like, look, I have to fess up. Santa's not real. And when he says that little freaking elf is like, ooh. And at that point, I was like, somebody punch him. I hate him.
Right. Right. He was meant to be annoying. Yes.
Oh, he was. He did a great job at it. And I wanted him to throw him in the fire. Granted, they got him. Oh, they beat the crap out of him.
Right.
It was pretty glorious too. I enjoyed it. But I still wanted him to take it further and throw him in the fire. Sorry. I'm violent. Right. Anyway, that's how I felt.
Okay. All right.
And that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Okay, cool. All right. Well, hey, everybody, real quick, don't forget to, as we're closing out the show, don't forget to check out our Audible trial, audibletrial.com/2geeks to get if you've never tried Audible before, give it a shot. You get a free audiobook, for 30 days, and, you get to keep it however long, kind of a thing that you want. So it's yours to keep, but, that first 30 days for free to try one. And so then also,
and if you subscribe through our link, we get a couple shekels.
Yep. Yes, we do. Also, one more reminder, if you want to support us, we have 3 tiers on our Ko-fi page, just like Patreon. So, ko-fi.com/2geeks, 2 geeks. And, check us out there. Don't forget, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a special Ko-fi members only Mystery Science Theater 3000 style thing, where it's going to be a webinar. We're going to watch a movie, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. And we're just going to have a great time together with that. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. So, all right. If you want to connect with us, please check us out at show@2geeksmike.com, the number 2geeksmike.com. And also just want to give a shout out. All things 2 Geeks are on our website, 2geeksmike.com, for our connection to all things 2 Geeks, our merch page, as well as our Facebook page, YouTube page. The whole gambit is all there on that site. Anything else I may be missing?
Don't forget, Christmas is coming up, and yeah, you can get your Two Geeks merch. We have mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of cool merch. And we got different logos that you can get, so on and so forth. Also, a shout out to our Ko-fi subscribers. Thank you to Three Geeky Dads Podcast, Go for Fluffernut, Sage Page Omega, Josh Wilson, my wife Brenda, Angie, one of our Ko-fi family here, Derek from Three Geeky Dads, and Megan, one of our other Ko-fi members here, our Ko-fi family here. Our Two Geeks family here. Okay.
You're getting it. It's all good.
Also, if you are not already doing it, please follow and like us on Facebook. Our Facebook page has been growing. I try and be very regular on Facebook and post a lot of funny things. Sometimes we make announcements, so on and so forth. So check us out there. Also, go and like and hit the subscribe bell and all the good stuff on YouTube. Every time you do that, that does help the algorithm so other people can see our YouTube videos and such. We'd like to see that grow some more. We've had some growth on YouTube, but I'd like to see it bigger.
Right on.
And I think that's all I got.
All right. Well, cool beans. Well, Mike, I'll let you close this out. Everybody, thanks so much for joining us. It's great to have you to talk about Violent Night. It was good. So thanks so much.
All right. With that said, I know it's a little early, but Merry Christmas to all, and to all a violent night. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,